What's this? Come on.
Geography 101.
What's this? Come on.
Geography 101. This is simple stuff. Simple. Just the basics. This is the American continent, right? This is where you are.
Don't pressing it too much, man. I don't want it to fall off.
This is the United States of America.
That's the United States. Okay.
Canada's the rest of this mass land. South of this, up to here, is North America. South of this is Central and South America.
And they left out the Caribbean. See how they do it?
The Caribbean is this. This is the Caribbean basin right here.
Oh,
so the American continent with North America, South America, the Caribbean. You know the Caribbean basically belongs to North America. They don't want to associate it, but it belongs to North America because anything past anything below Mexico belongs to South America. Anything past anything past Panama is South America.
Anything north
is north. Belong to North America. But they want to separate it between North America, Central America, and South America. But it's one continent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the Caribbean. This will be Cuba. This will be the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Trinidad, your country would be right here. Right here. That would be right here. Jamaica would be like right here. So this is the American continent. The American continent, one landmass.
And what do we have here? This is
over here. This is Greenland. So this officially belongs to North America, but it's part of Denmark. Greenland. It's all ice up there. Now, let's go to Asia.
Asia is bigger than Africa?
Asia is the biggest continent in the world. Asia. So let's say
that's probably fifth grade, but
Asia's the biggest continent in the world. So Asia is all this. Even part of the Middle East also belongs to Asia. Because Asia is like this. This is all Asia.
And what's this, Australia?
That's Australia. That's a continent by itself.
Oh.
By itself. It's so big, they needed to make it a continent. So, and then down here, we have Antarctica. That's another continent, but, they got disputed lands in Antarctica because they want to, there's some minerals in Antarctica that a lot of countries are disputing. They have, like, pieces of land, of the ice that they want to claim. But that's for another day because, So this is basically Asia. You got Russia on the top. Russia's divided in two regions. You got Europe, Russia, and then you have Asia, Russia, which is composed of this part here. This is mostly Asia, Russia. Russia is the biggest continent in the world. The biggest country in the world.
Oh, so it's like what, this whole shit right here?
This whole shit, like almost like up over here. And then you got the part of Europe, Russia, which is like all the way over here. And yeah, that's.
Wait, Russia's part of Asia?
Russia, the majority of Russia, it's in Asia. The majority.
But you don't learn that shit. You thinking Russia is?
No, Russia is it's a vast.
I'm sorry, I'm a dummy when it comes to geography. But that's what he's in his bag. But that's what he do.
This is my strength.
Geo rich.
Some of the stuff he knows better than me. So yeah, Russia, the largest country in the world. It goes across two continents. The majority goes to Asia, and then a little bit in Europe. But Asia is basically all this. Basically, this is all Asia. If you put a hand over here, and on Australia, this is all Asia right here. Wow. Basically, that's what Asia is. All Asia.
Where's Europe?
India. Well, Europe is this. This is Europe. Europe is not a big continent. Europe is it's a small continent.
I know it's very small. I've heard.
But it's not like we discussed before. It's not the size of a country. It's see, I'm getting looser now, so words are flowing a little better now. I need, you know what I'm saying?
Geo Rich,
come on,
what you do. You're gonna learn a lot. This podcast is ratchet, educational, argumentative.
Right.
We gonna be going in.
And but this is Europe right here. This is the Iberian Peninsula. This is Spain and Portugal. Then you got France. You got Italy right here. There's like a boot. We're gonna get a better map. We're gonna get a better map. Yeah.
But this is what we got for now, guys.
This is Germany's like right here in the middle. Switzerland and all that stuff. This is the Scandinavian Peninsula. I always rave about the Scandinavian countries, how they have shit. I mean, they are a standard of how a nation should be run. You know what I'm saying? Because they are standard. They are standard. I always rave them. I know they white, but It is what it is.
Hey, listen, we got respect for the white folks.
We respect everybody.
Exactly.
We respect everybody. We love all people.
But you can't love all people unless you love yourself first.
Yes.
You feel me?
We have to love our people first.
Yeah, and
we want our
take
people
care
to
of
do
our
better.
people. Yeah.
We want the people to do better.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm always mad about certain stuff about the African continent and in Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. That it makes me mad. Some of these governments, the way they are so corrupt. Greece is right here. You see how Greece is so close to the African continent?
Right. That's how Alexander the Greek.
Yeah.
Right.
That was they able to dominate, Kemet, because they came in. You know what I'm saying, crossed the Mediterranean, and they were.
And this is North Africa is right there.
This is North Africa.
Right.
So this is Europe. Now we're gonna go to the motherland. The motherland is here. See how big this? And this is the most beautiful mapped. This. Look at this map. It's a beautiful map, man. It's a beautiful map. It got to be the motherland of everybody, not just everybody's motherland.
It could be. Listen, there's a lot of theories on the evolution of man and all that shit, but we'll get to that. We got a lot of
people that watch.
Yeah,
people
know, a lot more aware.
People know this is the place of the original man, right here. You see what I'm pointing at? That's Ethiopia. That's where they, theorists.
I believe that to be factual.
Theorists say that was the original man came out of here, and then it just spread throughout the world and started walking all throughout the world. Of course, they got lighter when they got to Europe because of the cold. Similar, different migrations got different features because of the food, the way they ate, the way climate change and all that stuff. That's why the Asians are Mongoloids. We are Negroids. The Arabs got caught up in between. This is the Arab land, so they got caught up in between.
I ain't no Negro. I hate that word, but go ahead.
No, you know what? Listen, but those are terms that people. We have to throw it out there because
everybody knows that. But
what other terms are we gonna come up with? So for them to understand, we have to use those terms.
I get it. Patient when
Negro. Let me tell you something about the word Negro. Negro is just plain black. The word Negro in Spanish is black. You can't to say Negro in Spanish, you can't make another name.
Right.
That is negro. That's the word black in Spanish. You can't say it's like just saying black. So the word Negro is not. I don't think this should be. It's just a European word.
Right.
What comes from the Spanish language and the Portuguese language. I don't know why people take offense to that.
Well, it's you know what it is. I think coming up they would say Negroes only, Negro. You know what I mean?
But that's so. They had to use that. They had to use that word.
They had to use something. But to that's just how I seen it growing up.
Right.
As a kid, I was like, man, I ain't no goddamn Negro. You know what I mean? I'm not that. I'm not that assimilating.
That's the only reason.
You know what I mean?
That's because it's not an English word. You associate with black better, right? You associate with that.
I could say that.
Right. Because it's not an English word, you view it.
But
already.
even black is getting hijacked. But we talk about that shit later.
But
we talked about that earlier.
When you say black, what other word are you going to replace it with?
I like indigenous.
In the English language, what are you going to replace black with?
I like indigenous.
Okay.
Name of my production company, Indigenous.
Is that why you got that thing on your
Indigenous? Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it.
Yeah, come on, man. It's holistic.
Indigenous, okay.
Indigenous everywhere. You know what I mean?
You don't like native? Native?
I like native.
I think native is probably more proper than indigenous. Remember, indigenous comes from Christopher Columbus trying to reach the Indies, and that's how he landed in the Caribbean. So he wanted to go to India.
Right.
He wanted to get the spices good. Europe had no flavor. Let me just tell you that. Europe had no flavor. No, it's true. Yeah, real talk. Europe had no flavor, so they had to get the spices out of India. People of color. People of color always had flavor. I'm sorry to say it, but that was just the way it is.
Yeah, of course. Well,
so they had to season the food. They had to get the spices from India. He wanted to go to India because there was a spice route. This was the spice route coming all the way over here to go to India. There was a thing called the spice route. And people from Europe wanted to get those spices from all these lands, from the Arabian Peninsula and India and the Indian subcontinent. So for Christopher Columbus, he wanted to go another route. He didn't want to go through all the mountains and all this stuff to get to India. He wanted to sail off and see how he could get to this place. But that's why he called it the West Indies. But it was really because this was the East Indies. Once they found out that was in India, they call it the West Indies because this is the East Indies. You understand?
Word. But how did that come from? How did indigenous come from that though?
Indigenous?
To me, what I understand indigenous to be, what I understand it to be is indigenous is the people who are on that land, people that basically own the land.
People that have been for millennia. People that have been there for millennia.
So
those are indigenous people or natives, however you want to call it.
Yeah, but I love indigenous because, and that's why I have on my car, I have indigenous everywhere because I think everywhere, I mean, it has two meanings. You know, when non-black people ask me, what does that mean? I mean, I'm from Russia and we're indigenous to Russia. What you mean you're indigenous everywhere? You're indigenous there too? And I'm like, well, once you're a human being, you're indigenous to everywhere on the earth, right? They
have different, they have people that have, in Japan, for example, the Japanese people, it's one of the most homogeneous countries in the world. But there were people there than the modern Japanese, which is a tribe, I forgot the name of it. So those people, in Japan, they call it the native indigenous people of Japan. It's a small minority. So in Russia, they have the same thing. A lot of countries, the modern people of that country, what they call, let's say the Japanese, the Korean, there's always like a small population of people that were there first. And they call those people, natives or indigenous people of that, because you got to remember, population to flourish, and they have to come from all over the place. They just don't pop up, it's not, you don't come out of the ground. You have to come from another place to populate a certain geographical,
locale,
place.
Yeah.